Pedro from A&P-REACTS. I'm here today with John Humphrey from Seether. How's it going?
Good, man. Good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. The album release is just around the corner. How excited are you to finally see this baby go out into space and let all the fans hear what you guys have been working on for such a long time?
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very excited. We've completed the album at the end of January, and obviously, shortly after that, the whole world changed. Everything kind of went upside down. So we pushed things back, and I'm really excited to see that the release date soon will be here, and this album, this new Seether album, will be out.
Can you tell me a little bit about the choice and the title of the album? Because I thought the title was very creative. If you want peace, prepare for war. But at the same time, it feels a little bit redundant, because if you always follow that paradigm, you end up always being stuck in a war.
Right.
What was the idea behind that album title and doing it in Latin?
It came from Sean and using that phrase, and I had to do a little research on it myself, a little Latin lesson, and and you find in some cases for the military, just by the act of preparing for war, sometimes can incite peace or hopefully a calm spell or period, rather than actually having to go to war. Maybe just by the act of being on the defensive sometimes.
Do you feel like this record is made up of perhaps 13 individual wars or battles as far as the tracks are concerned?
I think it's a cohesive piece. I think all the music really goes together well. I tracked drums to 21 songs. Sean, while we were off, wrote a lot of music and sent us all demos to prepare and to get ready for the studio. So we tracked 21 songs. It was really tough to narrow it down. But I think the 13 that we've selected, I think thematically and musically, they're a cohesive piece. I think it all goes together and makes for a solid album.
What's the creative process behind Seether? How do you guys tackle an album like this?
Yeah, in this case, this is the second time that Sean has produced. He produced Poison the Parish for the album before this one. And so it's really cool. So he writes the material, puts the demos together, and then sends it to all of us to learn and prepare. And I spent about 2 or 3 weeks at home up in my music room. I'm the drummer, so working on my drum parts and preparing for the studio. And so we began with the foundation, which is recording drums first in our case. And I play to these demos, allowing Sean to be in the control room and act as producer. That way he can be objective. He doesn't have to worry about playing guitar. He doesn't have to sing or perform. He's just listening to, in my case, my individual performance and making suggestions or changes or whatever. And we just build actually on those demos, recreating them, rebuilding them. And it's worked really well.
Is this the process that you guys have followed all along? There was nothing new coming into this record?
In this case, the way we've done it is with Sean producing. It's been the last album and this album. We've worked with other producers, outside producers in the past, Howard Benson, Brendan O'Brien, and sometimes those processes can be different. We've played together live in a track room as a band, or maybe it's just me and Dale tracking. Bass player, and so it varies. But in this case, we rebuilt the demos.
How much did it change for you guys going into the studio with an added guitar player?
Corey Lowry's been an amazing addition. He's a fantastic musician. He's an engineer and producer in his own right. So he had a lot of creative input, and in cases he helped me get prepared for my parts. He sent me the demos with the drum machine parts that Sean had put together, and then tracks without it, so I could play along and kind of try to help create my parts. So he did things like that from being in the studio, obviously helping with sounds, engineering, producing, arrangement suggestions, working in tandem with Sean. Corey's, he's incredible, and also incredible singer and guitar player.
What drove the decision for you guys that you felt that you needed an extra guitarist on the band?
We have done it 3-piece a couple of times, and it works pretty well. Sean's, an accomplished guitar player as well as, vocalist, but it's a lot on his shoulders to have to perform live, do all these guitar parts and perform them, seamlessly and sing. And it's a lot. And we kept finding that we needed that second guitar player live. And Corey's just a perfect fit, not only just in the live touring situation, but obviously on the creative side of it as well.
In my opinion, his addition made this record feel, I mean, if I look at the previous album and I look at this album, this record felt to me that it had a much bigger sound. And I don't mean like it was heavier necessarily, but it just felt like there was a lot more volume. There was, I like to call it a lot more meat on the bone as far as the guitars are concerned.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I also have to say the engineer on this was Matt Hyde, who also was engineer on Poison the Parish, and man, they get some great guitar sounds. But yeah, I think definitely Corey's playing and just his input in general, his experience he brings to the table, and I just think it makes for just adding to the sonic palette of this album for sure.
Yeah, it gave a lot more substance to the overall sound of the guitars. It almost gave the songs a little bit more presence, a little bit of a stronger atmosphere. It went really well with the lyrics that you guys created for the record as well. So it kind of became a symbiosis of all of these different elements coming together with the title of the record. It's almost like you guys checked all the boxes as you're going through the preparation to put this album together.
Yeah, I have to give, again, kudos to everybody on the team, and especially Sean, man. He was, last year was actually our off year. Anytime we go out on a tour, we tour anywhere from 16 to 18 months. And the Poison tour wrapped at the end of 2018. So 2019 was kind of our down year. And Sean was up in his studio, busy, working and writing and putting everything together. And, so when he sent us demos, they weren't sort of unfinished. I mean, he changed lyrics and stuff maybe as he was tracking vocals, which tend to be last when you're recording in the studio. But I mean, pretty much these songs were all fully realized even by the time he sent us demos. So kudos to Sean. I know I'm in a band with him, but he's really, he's a very talented guy. What can I say? He's awesome.
Oh, I think you're selling yourself short. All of you guys are really talented guys, and that really showcases on the music that you create, and specifically on this record. I really felt that this album perhaps extended a little bit of what you guys had done all the way until this point, and really evolved. Like the band is becoming a little bit more. I don't know. I hate using this term because it's such a cliche, but a little bit more mature. The sound on this album feels a little bit more. Like you guys now finally, this is Seether, and on this album you were able to peel all the layers and really showcase to the fans what the Seether sound really is all about.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's been, being a band for so long. I've been with the band now 17 years, so there's chemistry there. We've done a lot of shows. We've got a lot of time under our belts all together, and I think, I mean, I find myself using the same description, which is, I think the music is real mature. I think we've grown. I think you can see that evolution if you were to play, from Disclaimer to the newest album. I think definitely there's a growth, and I think the band with Poison and with this album, really, I do feel proud that we've kind of found our sound.
Yeah, and I don't mean this, that I'm not saying that you guys necessarily changed a lot of your elements of who you are as a band. I just feel like there's still the same aggression there. The message in the lyrics is still as strong as it's ever been. So those things didn't change at all through the progression of the band. Right. I felt like just the way you guys construct the tracks, the way the tracks sound, just has that more mature, polished feel to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we go with our strengths and we really play to that. We've had the opportunity to work with some killer producers, amazing, talented producers, but you always have, they're objective, but you always have that outside opinion, that outside influence. Maybe it isn't totally 100% the band's vision. And with Sean producing these last two, especially this one, we don't have to compromise that vision. It is the band, how we wanted to have that edge and aggression, and it can be melodic as well.
You mentioned that you guys started out with 21 songs, and then you obviously worked to the existing track listing. I thought that the track listing on this album was really strong. The order of the tracks was really strong. You create the perfect fluidity for the album with the perfect drops. Everything about it just made the record as a whole sound and feel a lot better. How much work went into finalizing this as the track listing?
Absolutely. As a band, we voted on the songs, which was really tough to have, 12 or 13 that we all agreed on.
Process.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And if there was a tie or something, Sean was the breaking vote, the deciding vote. But yeah, we're old school. We think not in terms of singles. We really think in terms of an album. So not only do you select the songs, then you put them in order. You want the album to come out strong and have peaks and valleys and end, with a climax. I mean, you really do. We view the album as an entire piece, all the tracks, not just the singles, and we've done that. We're old school, man, and we've done that from day one.
And this album to me really works like that. I mean, you can break the album into singles because the songs are strong enough on their own to be held as singles. But this is really a record that you have to listen from top to bottom in order to really feel the full essence of what you guys are creating here.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. And that's our intention. When you're putting together 12, 13 tracks, I, as a fan, want to sit down and experience the album, literally the vinyl from side 1 through side 4. I want to experience the album in the order intended. And that's, we view that as a piece, as well as the music, individually on their own, each song on their own.
Was there a specific song, now that you look back at the finished product, was there a specific song or songs that gave you a little bit of a hard time, that really made you struggle and even wondering if it was worth keeping that song on the record?
Not really, because Sean even wrote more than the initial 21. So he had already kind of gone through a process of elimination and sent us what he felt was the best of the best, even by the time the band heard it. So, I mean, really narrowing down 20, it was tough, because I felt like all the songs were really good. I really did. I mean, I'm not bragging like, man, we never write a bad song. But really, I felt like there's still, 6 songs in the can that are I'll be happy to see released at some point. They're just as strong. We just felt that these songs, again, were a cohesive sort of thing for the album in its entirety.
Maybe an EP down the road, considering no touring, no shows right now because of the pandemic. Maybe another Seether EP down the road.
Yeah, exactly.
I have to ask you about 2 specific songs on this record. They're my favorite tracks on the album. And I want to start off with Dead and Done, which is the opening track. What a powerful way of kicking in the door and saying, hey, this is our new album. We're here. I mean, this song really starts off the record like as a rocket. It's heavy. It's a banger. It has power. It has aggression. How did that song come about?
Yeah, that was just as we tracked it and recorded and listened to all the music back, that one just kind of stood out as and I love albums with that great first track that just grabs you. I just think, I don't know, for a band like Seether, that's what has to happen. You have to have that first track that just, boom, new album, check this out. And you have that great opener, that strong opener. And Dead and Done just felt like, it was the one. It was funny. I don't listen to Seether music, generally in my time off, but we've been recording a live stream performance that'll go out on the 30th. And we, as a band, we get into Sean's truck, and we were jamming on the CD. We just gotten the CDs. We're like kids, like, okay, now we get to hear it on the CD. What is this? and I'm rocking out on my own album. I just think it sounds awesome. And that Dead and Done starts, and like, whoa, man, this is a wall. This is awesome. It really gets you pumped. I think it's a cool first track.
That's exactly how I felt when I pressed play. I was like, holy crap. Now I know I'm in for a ride, because this one just like knocked me out. It was a KO, like, to start off the record. So you're in for an absolute gem of an album when it starts off like that. I love records that give you that big push right at the beginning. I'm the same as you. Another song that I really enjoyed, and it's really hard to pick favorite songs on this album, let me tell you that, from a fan's perspective. It's you could close your eyes and just point at any track, and you're not going to have a bad song on the album. But Buried in the Sand, I thought it was it had such a dark underbelly to it, but at the same time it's very groovy, has a great atmosphere. And I thought it has a really cool message as far as the lyrics are concerned, and the way you guys connected the sound with the lyrics, the two really go well in hand. It's almost like one is the soundtrack to the other.
Wow.
How did that song come to life?
Again, another great song that Sean sent to us, and we prepared, as a band. I love that song. There's a lot of great songs on this
Yeah.
album. And Sean, lyrically, man, there's a lot of depth to his lyrics. He has something to say. In some cases, he leaves it open-ended so that the listener, maybe, the situation or experience can apply to their lives as well. But he's very honest, and I think a lot of people connect with that. There's something there lyrically. There's depth to what Sean has to say, and a lot of emotion. And
Yeah.
I think, again, I think a lot of people connect with that.
I think from a fan's perspective, I always felt with Seether, and it's true of this record, it almost feels like you guys are creating music for me, the individual. Like it's like you guys know me personally, and you wrote a song for me. And I almost feel that way almost about every single song that you guys put together. There's that personal,
Wow.
emotional touch with the tracks that it's really hard to walk away from.
Wow. Well, thank you. Yeah, I think it's, we're all in this ride together, a human condition. Maybe sometimes we don't always agree, but we, a lot of shared experiences, shared emotions. We go through a lot of the same things together, and no one is alone, really. That's how I feel. And that's the beauty of music, man, is connecting, reaching out to other people, and connecting on some level, either through the aggression of the music, the power of the music, or the lyrics. It's all about connecting with other people. It's again, I think, feel the beauty of music.
I have one more question for you, and that is, as you look at the overall album, I felt that this record really encompasses perhaps everything that you guys have done up until this point. Do you feel like this is perhaps the most, and I know this perhaps, once again, it's a cliche, but do you feel like this is the most overall complete Seether album, top to bottom, sound, lyrics, the way it's constructed?
Yeah, I know every band always talks about their latest album. It's the best, but I really feel this is a strong album for us. And I felt it when I was tracking it. I felt something special, like listening back to those first playbacks of songs. I'm like, whoa, this is kind of another level for us. And I take a lot of pride. I take a lot of pride in everything we've done, but I really feel this album's special. And I think the material's really strong, and Sean did an amazing job. And I think the band and the performances are there, and hopefully we pulled it off. I feel that, like I said the other day, jamming in Sean's truck, driving to rehearsal, just the band, just, me and Dale are in the back seat, and rocking out to this album just like another fan, because I hadn't listened to it in a couple of months, and I'm like, yeah, man, this is, I'm proud of this stuff. Proud of all of us.
The only way that picture could get any better is if you're wearing a Seether t-shirt while in that car listening to Seether going through the jam session. That's the only way that story could get any better whatsoever.
Exactly.
I'm assuming you were not wearing a Seether shirt, by the way.
I wasn't. Band 101 rule is you don't wear your own band's t-shirts, but in my heart, man, absolutely.
Well, John, thank you very much for your time today. Best of luck with the release
you.
on Friday, August 28th. The album is out. Go pick it up. This is an amazing record from you guys. But then again, you guys never disappoint. The consistency that you've had across your career is just something magnificent. And this album is really like outstanding.
Wow. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
Take care.